Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world. It is once again time for the WADcast, episode number 75. I am one of your hosts in the face, Josh, joined as always by my ever loving black screen having co host, Brandon.
Yep. What is up? Well, I mean, listen, it's the first time that we've done this video thing. And our
Well, it's not the
show is
first time. We've
infamous
done it before.
for. Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about like actual, like just trying
Putting
the
thought into it.
backgrounds and everything else. Apparently,
Yeah.
yeah, putting something into it. And like with other things that we also try to do, things don't really work out with the best of quality. As you all see, this is pretty much my hands like to verify. Yeah. This is bad, but it's one of those deals where we are honestly trying our just trying something new and going.
Yeah, it seems like the camera is taking up a whole lot of power when it comes to your bandwidth.
Well, I mean, it's I'm here, aren't I?
Yeah. There's
So,
no denying
sorry,
that.
and now I can do my taxes. So
I haven't gotten mine yet, and I got to figure out how to do taxes for a business. Yay, right? Especially
fun.
for a business that didn't exist in the 2021 tax year.
Well, I mean, I don't really think we have to do taxes on it until we actually make any money off of it. Because right now, pretty much like what we have with Wadco Media LLC, we can pretty much just like write off, and the IRS will be like, "Oh, okay." But this show is not about taxes.
You want me to report both
This show
dollars?
is about This show is very much about what it takes to pay taxes, and that it comes with having thicker skin. You have to get ready to lose a lot of money that you make throughout the year, and in the industry, you have to be ready for some serious criticism and for just like a lot of things to go awry with what you're trying to make your vision versus what it comes out as in the end. So, but yeah, you want to lead us into this, Josh?
Sure. Usually, what you folks won't see while I'm, Brandon's doing a little bit of introduction is me sharing all of the links via social media. So that's why you see my eyes like going over here. But as far as the topic of tonight, yeah, I might get some criticism for this, but you know what? I can take it because I've developed thick skin. You see, no matter who you are or where you are in the entertainment industry, there are going to be people that love you, no matter how bad your work is. There are going to be people that hate you, no matter how good your work is. And the idea is you want to, of course, embrace the people that love you and kind of ward off or ignore the ones that hate you. But the thing is, doing that puts you in a precarious position because you are shutting yourself off to any and all kind of constructive criticism. So tonight, what we're going to talk about is, I think, how to identify what is what and trying to help you realize that just because somebody doesn't like what you do doesn't mean that what you're doing is necessarily wrong or that the criticism is necessarily bad. You just need to learn from anything somebody has to say about what you do. Sound about right?
That's about, yeah. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself.
I guess that's the show then. Thanks for joining us.
Look at some. Yeah, that's. Have a good night, everybody. no, it's like there's a I've recently gotten into doing script bridge, helping people out and stuff like that, just like giving them like my 2 cents on where there's the and I've had a few scripts this past week, um, well, the past like month or so that, and Sue's actually like had the same thing happen with her. Where there have been
Hi, Sue.
people where she's, hi Sue, is she here? I don't know. Oh, there we go. Hi Sue. Um, but what do you call it? The when okay, like let's start with script. We're going to work our way through a few things industry related here. Script coverage. I've had scripts that I put in and or to cover and give me like their 2 cents on. Sometimes it was really good. It was so they were praising my work. Other times it was torn to pieces, like in front of me. It was destroyed. Um, basically, I was told by one guy to never write a like. Oh, okay. Well, that's hurtful. Oh, fuck. Sorry. Oh, go. All right. Sorry.
And there was your
Of course, as we're doing the show, that's when everyone. I, no, I'm gonna have another one. No, but there was this guy that told me flat out that like I should never write it again. That I need extensive training in writing, which training in writing, like the only way to train in writing is to write.
Mhm.
And I've had other people that told me like a script that they read when they were laughing, when they were crying. At one point, they were crying from laughing so hard. Another point, when they had some tears, they had tears from how much they were moved by the script. So I mean, you get good and bad criticism, but sometimes criticism is brutal. And there was someone that I recently worked with that was telling me that she feels like the industry people should be nicer to each other, and it's just like realistically, that's not the case. Realistically, nice doesn't go anywhere with the film industry. If you are overly in the film industry, you're in the wrong industry. You can be respectful, and part of that respect is, I guess, just like making people know, like I can like you as a person. What you're turning in is subpar. You're going to know it. And I'd rather people treat me with that sense of realism, if that makes sense. Like I'd rather people like come to me and tell me that my work sucks, so that way I know what to do to make it better. If someone's coming up to me and saying, the best read, it sucks, I'd be more pissed off over. And I've had a guy, like I actually had a guy that was telling me that he wanted me to he was hoping that I would really like it. And I told him that like the script is not good. It wasn't even a good
Mhm.
story. There wasn't even a good premise. Um, it was almost impossible. It took me 6 hours to read 95 pages because it was so confusing. It was like that difficult to get through. And he told me like, well, maybe I should go somewhere where like actually read a bad script and come back and tell him, you know, I guess compare that bad script to his script. And I told him, think of himself as a restaurant owner in Kitchen Nightmares, who thinks that just like the house, like everyone in town loves the food, but the restaurant is empty.
You only need to
I told
clean
him,
the
like,
grease traps
everyone can love
twice
your writing,
a
but I don't see
year.
anyone lining up to buy it twice a year. But yeah, so this is like starting off the show, guys. If someone is like just going through your script and giving you notes and everything else, and this isn't aimed at one person, just things that I've seen over the years, things that I've experienced myself. If someone is your script apart, remember, especially if you paid for coverage, you paid for them to do that. So the whole niceness thing, it doesn't exist. if they're being overly nice, then you need to get a different reader. That's going to be like there's a that I'm working on right now with a few friends, Brian, Matt, so that we're working on, and they're not tearing it apart, but like there's lots of critique involved. So I have to like, as much as I love the original version, some things that they're bringing to the table make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that's all I've got. In the words of I have to say about that.
It's funny you
But
mentioned that
yeah,
because I thought, as you were saying, in the business, in the industry, it doesn't pay to be nice. Although, there are some people that are notoriously nice, right? But I still don't see these notoriously nice people as people that would, you know, let somebody walk all over them. Like, I don't think Tom Hanks is the kind of guy that's like,
exactly.
reading a script that's not very good and saying, "Yeah, yeah, sure." I, sure. I could see Tom Hanks saying things like, "You know, there's a lot of good stuff in here, but there's also some stuff that could use a lot of work." You know,
Yeah,
and he seems like
absolutely.
the guy that would use the compliment sandwich method. Compliment, criticism, compliment, and at least he seems like the kind of guy. Just seems like the kind of guy that you would be told that everything you've done is terrible, but done in a Tom Hanks way where you feel good about it afterwards.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Sue, I was actually thinking about this. He says, especially in the industry is neither filled with or is built from nice people. And also says like Reeves is widely known as, but he is honest about things too, which he. There are a lot of things that just don't really work. There's a lot of things that don't work, and this criticism isn't exactly. It's anyone that's aspiring to be a screenwriter, guys. I need you to understand. Sometimes recommendations from other writers, producers, studio heads, whatever. I hate studio interference in anything because it almost always inevitably is subpar to what the director wants to do. The director has an artwork that they want to relay, and the studio just sees dollar signs. It's always like that. Um, but there are examples. Child's Play. Originally, Child's Play was about a doll that was filled with fake blood. If I remember right, that went after Andy's enemies. That I think was the original version of Child's Play. What we got because of recommendations to Don Mancini and the changes he made from those recommendations was 1,000 times better than some little doll running around like with fake blood in it. We got a doll possessed by the Lake Strangler Charles Leray, which I don't think outside of a handful of times I've ever seen him strangle anyone in the movies. But most of the time it's just a pretty warped shit. So but either way, so what we got instead is we got this sick story about a possessed doll that needs to get out of this doll's body. The soul needs this doll's body, and he's trying to possess this kid. Um, it's 1,000 times better, and it's more marketable than some little doll with fake blood running around, killing Andy's enemies. I don't even know what the hell they were thinking about. Um, but yeah, so Christ, X-Men was the introductory to the origin story of the X-Men. Oh, my mom's here. Hello, mom. Good to see you. Well, in the comments, I can't really see you, but I see your picture. Um, in the original version of the X-Men, it was Magneto trying to take over Manhattan and making it a safe haven for mutants or something like that. What Godden said, I thought was pretty good. With him just trying to turn everyone in the world into a mutant, and there's a lot of rewrites that happen. So, sorry, I'm looking at one of my notes here. Oh, and actually, here's another one that's right up your alley.
Mm-hmm.
We've discussed this actually the other day.
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Oh, that original
Guys,
script.
you think what you think? Yeah, you guys, you think you have is this original and great idea, and it's going to make you millions of dollars, and it's like going to be a franchise. What is sexier in Back to the Future? A DeLorean that can go back in time, this iconic car,
Mm-hmm.
or a refrigerator powered by a Coca-Cola machine or something like. I forget what it was. I forget exactly what it was. I think it was like, let me see in my notes, refrigerator. Nope, yeah, here it is. Okay. So originally, the time machine was a refrigerator powered by Coca-Cola, not a DeLorean powered by the flux capacitor. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Like, Marty, in the fridge! Like,
I think there would have been a lot of dead kids after that movie came out.
no, Marty, use Diet Coke! Product placement.
But luckily,
Oh, God.
there was somebody on board in the process that was like, wow, this has got to change. And if I'm not mistaken, the Back to the Future story itself was passed on like 40 times. Someone said take it to Disney, so they took it to Disney, and Disney's like, this whole, mother son thing you guys got going on here, we're probably about 25 too early for that.
Yep.
It's one of those jokes where if you know, you know.
That's yeah. It's like the thing is, like, there's always some kind of there's always some wiggle room in your script that it can use improvements, or in the movie or whatever. The final films, you have these directors that are usually 1,000 times better than what you see in the theaters. I'm not going to get into Zack Snyder's Justice League because I think Zack Snyder as is barely watchable most of the time. But it's everything on watching. For Christ's sake, Justice League has a slow motion scene of Lois walking out of an office with a coffee. Like,
And then
Snyder,
slowly
everything is
handing
slow.
it
It's
to
like
a security
Michael
guard.
Bay with like this. Yeah, and you're not, and that's the thing. Exactly. We have to get a slow motion shot of Lois Lane handing a coffee to a security. Why does that have to be slow motion? It's like Michael Bay. You get sickness just from watching a Michael Bay film. Everything's like always turning and moving, and it's too much. But you have the director's cuts like Thomas, the Punisher from 2000, Thomas Jane, or even I've got to say, it's going to be painful to say this, Daredevil from 2003, 2004, a year that came out. Both movies are meh. Daredevil is campy as all hell. But if you watch the director's cut of both movies, yeah, Darefleck. No, but it's like there's the director's cut for Daredevil actually shows Matt Murdock being Matt in a courtroom. It shows this entire case that ties the entire movie together. And it's like I always wondered when I saw it in theaters why it felt so rushed. And then I saw this director's cut. I'm like, oh, it still sucks, but there's so much more here. The Punisher, how to find out that Thomas Jane was an FBI agent. Find out in the director's cut that his best friend and longtime partner Jimmy sold him out to the mob. It's a lot of things that tie these things together, but the studios opt for these things to be changed. So it doesn't stop just at screenwriting. It stops at actually once you're done making the film. If it's a big studio production, there's a lot of these films that are completely changed top to bottom.
Yeah.
But there are movies that God, movies that had to be severely altered for certain reasons. I mean, it happens all the time. So
It is one of the fundamental rules, I think, of anything that gets made. Period. Whether it's big studio, small studio, whatever. What goes on the page is not going to always, or what, quite frankly, ever translate to the screen one to one. There,
yeah,
especially from going on from the earliest to all the way up to the shooting drafts, there will be changes in all of them. And even while it's shooting, there's going to be changes happening. Oh,
absolutely.
whether it's, what? It does make more sense to use this word instead of this word. Everything's going to change. And we've said it here before, especially when it comes to writing. If you have an idea and your goal is, you know what, either way, to sell it or shoot it. If you're a writer and you have an idea, you cannot be attached to every word, every punctuation on the page, because whether it's through additional drafts or changes that you come up with while shooting, it's going to change always, because you can't be closed minded to something that could make it better, whether it's from you as you're seeing things unfold and going, yes, it could work out better this way. Or if it's somebody else that just has an idea, it doesn't mean you actually have to use their idea. But if the comment's there, take a second, go, yeah, maybe it will, maybe it won't. But either way, everything's made to be changed. And quite frankly, one of my least favorite things about movies these days is the fact that even after it's released, things are constantly getting changed. Looking at you, George Lucas. Not just oh, this is an additional cut, but I'm talking about things that fundamentally
Oh man.
change the story. Han shot first. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so Sue says, like, hence why I said TV pilots and spec scripts are constantly changing. Absolutely. And then she follows it up with, a writer cannot get so emotionally attached to the script to be closed off. That will only end your career, but not only your career, but your script. Exactly. Like, I mean, it's like you have to roll with the punches. You have to know that you don't know every. What you think is best for a script may not align with a vision that someone else has in mind for it. To be able to separate your things and just get it done. Just whatever, like if you have to if you can't figure out how to make it work, bring on a second writer. Have a couple sets of eyes on it with people you trust. Copyright it, that's fine. But understand, if you have to completely gut the script altogether and redo it. You're gonna have to recopy. I mean, I believe in copyright thing once you're done, once you think you're close enough to being done with it. But it's just like you have to understand, like if there's things in it that don't make sense, you're not the only person whose eyes are going to be on this if you want it to be made. It's going to go through a whole list, a whole tier group of people. Get it to producer, you got to get it to a reader. If that reader doesn't like it, producer will never even see it. You know,
Basically.
I mean, despite what people think, yeah, readers. If you don't understand how the reader works, I was a reader for a minute. You have no how many scripts come through. There's a reason why it's called reader. That is what you do. If and the producer tells you, or the production company, whoever tells you that if you're not did by page 2, don't even think bringing it to me. I don't want to hear about it. It's a waste of my time. So I can't tell you. God, I must have made it through. God, 100+ scripts before I found one that made me interested enough to read to page 3. A lot of times it's grammar and formatting that are just almost impossible to get through. But if not that, even if you're writing and I'm sorry, even if your formatting is excellent, find a way to grab the attention of the person. It has to be done right then and there. I have just thrown away like these scripts that were thrown away. There was like a paste letter on my Word document politely saying no, thank you. It's not right for us. Like these rejection letters, they're not personalized. It's just like, okay, change the name here, send. That's it. That's all it is. So guys, when you write something, get a reader involved. Have a professional reader involved. Slow that shit down. Own it. You made a script. It may not be good. Here's where you can improve it. Roll with it or don't. Well, I'm going to make it myself. That's on you. Good luck. Lots of luck to you. There's another movie that was made because no one else would touch it. It's called The Room. Now, it is a famous, well, it's an infamous movie. It has a fan following. But it is very well noted that all the laughter that happened in the theater upon the screening of The Room pissed off Tommy Wiseau. He thought it was going to be a serious drama. Not came off. Get eyes on it. Get a reader, and if you're going to make it yourself, make sure you know how everything's going to be. Because that's another thing I dealt with the last a month and a half now since I've gotten back into coverage. Is a lot of I'm going to make this myself. There's one that took place in space. Oh, what's your budget? Oh, I could probably make it for $10,000. Like, okay,
Impressive.
who's to say you can't? Yeah, I mean, if it takes place on like a planet, you can just flashy outfits, Star Trek the hell out of it from the 1960s and go out in the desert and film it. That's fine. Takes place in space. That's cool. There's bunker sets that you can, rent. But reading the script, I was like, dude, you're not ready to make this yet. Oh, no, it's ready. I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, this is a final draft. I'm like, that doesn't exist. Your final draft could be the furthest thing from your final draft. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, here you go. I think he sent it into a contest last minute, asked for fee, and then he came back to me after he told me to go screw myself. I mean, since I used my one, he came back to me. He's like, "Hey, can you give this another read through?" I'm like, "No, I'm not done screwing myself yet." He showed me the scorecard that he got, and I was much nicer in mine than this reader for the contest was. And I told him, it's like, I wasn't holding back my punches. I was just being honest with him with what he needed. And looking at the score that he got, that he paid a lot of money for, versus me doing this as a longtime friend since college. Well, I'm sorry, since high school, rather. And I think my coverage is usually coverage is usually like 3 pages. My coverage is almost like 7 or 8 pages for people. It's like in depth, like dissecting everything that needs to be done, or things that didn't really sit well with me. But it all comes down to it. Just swallow your pride. Just understand, I'm not. It's nothing against you. No one's saying that you're a bad writer and that you have a bad idea. What we're saying is that the script is not done, or is far from it. And if you choose to make it, do so at your own risk.
But at least at that point, the risk is yours.
Yeah, and when it has less viewings than Santa Jaws or Velocipaster, don't come crying about it. I mean, it's really it.
It reminds me of the.
But yeah, coming.
Are you listening to the live version of the show? Because there seems to be a delay between us.
No, I am in our right now, where it's at like 30 minutes and 24 seconds.
Okay, so you're like 5 seconds behind. Weird.
Oh, okay.
But I was just thinking it reminds me of the Kevin Smith story about working with Ben Affleck early on,
Yeah.
where Ben wanted to do some ad libbing, And Kevin Smith said, "Well, if you want to say your own words, write your own script." And then he won an Oscar for it.
But I mean, that's it though. There's a lot that goes on with these things, with changes and everything else, with like again, studios, directors, screenwriters, even on independent films. Not independent films are written and directed by the same person. And God, I don't know what I did with it. I had to restart the computer earlier, and I kind of like lost the notes because I didn't save them. It's okay. I'm just a writer. Uh, but there are examples of scripts that were changed drastically upon being directed. I think what was it? Con Air was one of them. Con Air was like a character piece. It was like actually a much more serious role. Commando was a more character-driven, serious movie, and it got turned into an Arnold Schwarzenegger blow 'em up summer blockbuster kind of thing. Live Free or Die Hard was something that was made pre 9/11. It was written pre 9/11. And it was pulled when the studio was trying to figure out the next adventure for John McClane. So that's where Live Free, Die Hard came from. This, who, what's a good example? Oh, you and I were talking about this the other day, Zombieland. Now, the movie Zombieland was based off of an idea by the writer where it was meant originally to be pitched as a TV series. The TV series was turned down, but the studio saw potential. They turned it into a movie, which turned out to be with Jesse Eisenberg, Wilson, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin, I believe her name is. But the guy that created the script decides he wants to make his own TV show out of it. He wants to go back to roots. So he released this version of Zombieland, the TV pilot, on Amazon for all of the fans of the movie to watch, to try to garner, like, I guess, enough of an audience to watch this movie. So he makes this TV pilot. It bombs so badly. It just like colossal, like just crash and burn failure. His response is to go back and rip the fans a new one, saying the reason why it never got made into a series. Instead of being honest and just saying, hey, you know what? This really sucked ass. It was bad. Yeah. There's tons of things like that. I mean, let me see real quick. Do we still have that delay, Josh?
Well, do you hear these words?
I hear those words, yes.
It's a slightly smaller delay, but it's still there.
No. What's going on?
3 seconds now instead of 5.
No, that's good. That's an improvement. All right, let's see. So, what do you have to bring to the table?
Well, while you were, explaining some of the stuff, I decided to do a little bit of digging, if you will. So I want to read to you some reviews and I would like to hear your thoughts on them. Sound good?
It sounds good.
Okay. The first one with a half-star rating. It reads, I know it's supposed to be the greatest film in history. I know it was groundbreaking for its time. I know it's a cinematic masterpiece. I can appreciate that it's improved film as a whole. I know I can't recognize the techniques that were breathtaking at the time because they're the same techniques I've seen in every movie made after. But it was so boring. I was so bored. It was another movie about a rich person ruining his rich person life. It wasn't as pretty, but I felt more pity for obscenely wealthy Jesse Eisenberg in Social Network, and it did a great job being ridiculously unlikable. Hoist me onto your cross of pretentious films and crucify me, but I hated this movie, and it was murder to have to sit through it. What half-star movie is this?
Richie Rich.
Citizen Kane.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see.
This is like my thing is I never really got an appreciation for Citizen Kane until recently.
Well, there's more.
And it's
this one is a half-star review. And okay, it leads with a poor man's Ad Astra. It's ironic to me how many sheep say this is so original when the images and techniques used in this film are plastered all over every other sci-fi movie, from the Z-list actors to the weak cinematography. 2001, waste your time in every possible way. The plot makes no sense and the visual effects are disappointing. Also, the constantly forced underlying political themes don't work at all in this picture. Half star, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
wow.
Now, if we want to go into something that's a little more beloved by, we'll say, people that might watch the show, half star review. Further proof that Disney in the 2010s were the best things to happen to Star Wars. Nothing works. Darth Vader looks like a Power Rangers villain, even though they had style. Most insufferable is the shitty, self-righteous music and the inclusion of, I kid you not, a Muppet. Also, GTFO away from Leah Han. She's like half your age and you're the wrong kind of bad boy for her. I'm not sure I blame her, though, considering Luke has some ugly-ass scars and the worst hair in the movie, even next to Chewie. Half-star review of The Empire Strikes Back.
Wasn't like, I mean, like, I'm going to assume that this is like an old review.
Dated February 8th, 2021.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
finally,
Empire Strikes
one
Back
more.
is like, that's listed as the best Star Wars film.
Yeah. But one more. Half-star rating. Overrated. Is this every man's ideal man lifestyle? It should be renamed as Low-Key King's Daily Life, How He Managed His Empire in Trilogies. I don't know what is so glorifying to see in this film. His bad assiness, his king-like role. It feels more of a like a this is really hard to read. It feels more of like a Sex and the City movie where women wishes imagine to live their life as them and glorify the actress. And this is the male version of that. I hope some will enlighten me on this overrated fantasy role-play movie. Half-star review for The Godfather.
Oh, man.
So imagine if these kind of things were said way back when. You got Lucas, Coppola, Kubrick.
Were these people born? These people born like after like, you know, like 2005 or something, writing these reviews?
Maybe. Who knows? I don't know who wrote them. I'm just reading them. But imagine being one of those directors and seeing reviews like that. And I'm pretty sure people at the time were still very critical. Of course they were, because people have always been critical. But things like that, to someone with really no kind of preparation or thick skin, as we've been putting it, that could crush someone's soul to see someone like something like that. But having the faith that, hey, we're doing something good here. There's something to be said for it.
Yeah. It just reminds me of the end scene of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, when they print up the list of the critics from the internet and flying all over the country with the money they just made from their movie, just so they could go door to door beating some ass. I can't imagine. Like, I mean, I try to get Danielle into watching the Star Wars movies chronologically, and she stopped halfway through Empire Strikes Back because she said it was boring as hell. Uh, to me, it's a boring, dumpable offense right there. She never redeemed herself until she went to go see Ghostbusters Afterlife with me. But the way these people like really go balls to the wall, like reviews like 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Godfather, Citizen Kane, which I agree, Citizen Kane, I get flack over it. I think it's an okay movie, like it's meh at best. I appreciate it for the camera work that Orson Welles put to it. That a lot of it, if I'm not mistaken, has yet to be created because it was his ideas and his tricks that he took to the grave with him. So I respect it on those levels. The movie sucks. Like, the movie is absolutely painful to watch, but from a cinematography standpoint, it's brilliant. Okay, so Sue says, well, it's like when Richard Dreyfuss went on to say the movie Jaws was one of the worst movies he ever stated in. Oh, starred. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to edit Sue's comment right here now. It was one of the worst movies he ever starred in, and was ashamed of it. I would never ask money or win anything just before the movie was shown. Spielberg didn't care for what Dreyfuss said, and now he hasn't gotten many roles. Yeah, Richard Dreyfuss. I mean, like he was very, and he's still kind of, but it's like with him, he's more. He's an afterthought these days. And I like Richard Dreyfuss. I do. Um, seeing him in Field of Dream Bob is like one of my favorite films, and Richard Dreyfuss in the movie is absolutely hysterical. But yeah, it's like that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, guys, you're always going to have critics. You're always going to have someone that does not like putting out. You're going to have people that love what you're putting out. Again, there's a movie called Velocipaster and another movie called Santa Jaws. And if any of you ever want to watch Velocipaster, I'm sorry, side note here, Josh. If you ever watch Velocipaster, I will recommend that you do not watch it more than 15 minutes. You only need to know why they call him Frankie Mermaid. After that, you can turn the movie off. That's the best part of the whole movie, and that guy is not even a major character in the movie. But if you think your writing is so great and it's not getting made, understand you can make it yourself. Because there are movies that can't be as hell that all the time. Sharknado, I would have if you told me when the first Sharknado trailer ever aired, there'd be 5 of those damn movies, I would never believe you. But it went on to be a pop culture phenomenon for some reason, and it gave Tara Reid a special little feeling in her tummy that she was once again a relevant actress.
Andy Inziering.
Huh?
It's an Andy Inziering, right? That's his name. 90210
I
guy?
think so. Yeah. Yeah, I think. Let me see. Let's see.
As we look up the information
Yes.
for the masterpiece that is Sharknado.
Oh God. Yep. Ian Ziering.
But this does go to a place of critical feedback, something of a finished product where, you know what, after it's made, I'm not going to say, excuse me, critic reviews or fan reviews or whatever the case may be don't matter, because that would kind of rule an entire industry built around movies and entertainment pointless, right? Of course, reviews matter, but to an extent. They help guide people into what they feel like they should or shouldn't be watching. Right now, I think the paradigm
Yeah.
is most people are just going to find a critic or reviewer and make sure it's somebody that agrees with them. They make sure that it's somebody that already has similar tastes, and they're only going to read those reviews and appreciate that input. Talking about from a consumer level. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you find somebody that likes the
Yeah.
same things you do and they recommend something, yeah, by all means. But I would challenge somebody to open up that door to let people that like different things suggest things to you as well, because you never know where your tastes are going to go. I never thought I would be like a Studio Ghibli guy, right? But some for years people have been suggesting, just watch one movie. Now I've watched four, even though the people that I usually go to for my reviews, I am one of those people that read stuff of like-minded people. Um, it's not something they're into, but it turns out it's something I'm into. And what really irritates me
Yeah.
to no end more than anything is when if you like something and let's say you love something and somebody doesn't. I've said many times, I don't like anything Zack Snyder's done for the DC movies on a director level. It's not my thing. But that's me.
Yeah.
I am not going to, make personal attacks on somebody that thinks that it's good. I might make some personal attacks if they think they're the greatest movies ever made, because that is just objectionably wrong. But if someone's like, I love those movies, you know what? More power to you. That means you spent time doing something that you liked. And to you, that's from a consumer level, to you, that's all that really matters. From the creative level, there's only one language that really talks, and that's, of course, box office. If it does well,
Exactly. Yeah.
you're going to see more, whether it's by the writer of, by the director of, by the star of. There will be more work coming or going in that direction. If it doesn't do well, no matter how well it's received, I don't think you'll be seeing that as much. But on the same note, usually, not always, but usually, good work will find a home. It may take a while, and it may take a lot of hard work and not giving up. But usually, I like to think good work will find a place if you keep pushing.
And exactly. And but that's the thing. It's like Sue says here that she's always open for fresh ideas and eyes on her work. And like, yeah, she's right. There's this script that excuse me. And I'm not going to get into it because it's not my place to share the script, but I will share this one thing that she's talking about. Um, it is it's a shark script. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I had a great time reading it. But there's this one character. She's in the military. How many times you see a shark movie where the shark bites down on a person and they just go limp and the shark takes them away or whatever, or they just get snatched underwater, like they're gone. Um, and she wrote this scene with this one character where this girl is already a badass in the script, and the shark didn't really, from how she wrote it, it's like the shark didn't get her in any, like, I don't want to say like a non-vital way. It was a brutal scene as it was, but the shark clamps down on her and she goes limp, and the shark takes her underwater. And I told her, like, one thing I don't see in shark movies is that fight or flight. I saw it once, I think, in the original Jaws with oh God, what's his name? The fisherman that they hire um to kill Jaws, um to kill the shark. But even then, once he got clamped down, he just gave up. And this guy was like, kicking at everything else the whole way. Like, that's the only time I've ever really seen a movie where, like, in a shark attack, the shark is actually, like, is actually going to, yeah, Quint. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Quint. Um, Either way, coming off the point, this character she wrote was such a badass character in the script, and when the shark clamped down on her, if I remember right, I think she went limp and got dragged under the water. If not limp, the shark just grabbed her and took her under, and that was it. And I told her, I was like, for a character this badass, you need to give her a badass send off. Make her fight. My uncle Huey used to say that if I ever get into a fight with someone, the important thing is to make sure that they remember that they fought me. Whether I win or lose, they remember they fought me. So I was thinking about that when I was reading the script. Like, you need to make it to where this character um, goes down swinging, literally, like up until the very final moment of her life, she is fighting. Um, and Sue made the change. And so when she's saying like it read better, she showed me a change. I'm like, yeah, that is a badass send off for this character. Like, it's because again, it was such a brutal, vicious scene. Um, and it worked better, like, when you see her get killed by the shark, but she's not killed right away. She is being dragged away, and the shark is also dealing with her attacking it. So changes happen. Changes in scripts happen. You have to, like, separate your pride from what you have. Because I mean, if I have a script and I show it to somebody and they come back with this idea, okay, well, this is great, but let's do this instead. I'll write it out. I'll see how it plays, and we'll go from there. It's the best you can do. You owe it to yourself. Uh, and like Josh, what you said earlier, like, how people go to like-minded people for their reviews. I'd rather go to people that do not have the same ideals as me. I could go to someone and be like, "Oh, what do you script? We think alike so much," and they'll be like, "Oh, this is a great script. Oh, fantastic! I'll try to pitch it now." Let me show it to people that have a like-minded idea of what I like am putting out. People that enjoy that kind of a movie, and show it to someone that would not watch this kind of a movie. Because if that person who would not watch this comes back as, I love this script, that's awesome. I won them over. But if they come back and it's like, your script sucks. This is why I would change. What do you think about the other stuff? The other stuff, okay. This right here made no sense to me. It You have to go outside your comfort zone. You have to go to people that you know are going to most likely tear your work apart. You go, you rewrite it, and a lot of people don't understand this. When you're rewriting your script, a lot of times it is not just a few lines and quote unquote trimming the fat. A lot of times it is damn near complete deletion and rewriting from the get go. A few things stay, the rest has to go. You see it all the time. The Hangover. If you read The Hangover, it is nothing like the movie. It could not be further from the movie. So, but either way, that's pretty much what I got. Josh, you have anything else to add to this show?
Yeah, I'll throw in my final 2 cents, and it's going to come in the form of Sue made the, I think, best comment when it comes to having people look at your work. She said, "I prefer someone to be honest. Love me, hate me, feel whatever
Yeah,
you want about me. Just be honest about what you see that I'm making." And I would definitely prefer the people that I know and trust and love to be honest with me. Uh, I would like to think I would be able to do more trusting with them. But in all honesty, if you can't satisfy your, you know, biggest detractors who are just going to nitpick every little thing, at the very least you can learn from it and do whatever it takes
absolutely.
to be better. And at the same time, don't take everything so damn personally. Everything that
Absolutely.
you get told is not a personal attack on you. Just because something needs work doesn't mean, and like you said, Brandon, doesn't mean you suck. Doesn't mean someone's saying you suck. If Back to the Future, you know, was still at that first draft phase with a refrigerator, yeah, yeah, someone said this sucks. It sucks. Back to the Future, my favorite movie of all time, started off with a time traveling refrigerator. And someone, thank goodness for them, said, "This sucks. Do better."
And you know what? They
Because they
repurposed
said
that.
somebody
They
was
repurposed
capable.
it for Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
They repurposed
finally.
Kingdom of the Crystal.
They got their fridge. And you're going to do a lot of things that you don't
Oh my
like.
god.
There's a lot of things you don't want to do. And especially playing with other people's monies, you gotta, sit up and pay attention. Case in point,
Absolutely.
I bring this to the table.
Oh man. Hey, you
That
know
one's
what,
not
man?
going anywhere.
That's still my favorite job I've ever had in my that is my favorite job I've ever had in my life. I don't care. I do not care. I'm proud to be the artist formerly known as Lighthouse Pete the Pirate at the Cape Melos Ferry circa 2003 or 4, whichever year it was. I had a great time doing that. I got the money. All I did was just be a jackass for an entire summer. It was phenomenal. So,
So before we get out of here, Brandon,
so
I want to
it,
ask. Um, we had the cameras turned on tonight. It's obviously causing some sort of issue as far as our timing goes. I need to know, where is your girlfriend in all of this? The one that recommended we go ahead and do this. Is she watching
no,
live?
she's sitting
Is
across the
she
room from me.
is she watching the show?
No. Her listening. I mean, she's watching me. And by watching me, I mean she's not eyes on me. She's on her laptop doing stuff, sitting across the room. So she is live with us vicariously through me.
But not
So,
actually watching
uh,
us do the advice that we were given, which was
no. She's not she is not watching us put into practice what she's been recommending for so long. No,
okay,
she is
okay.
not. She's like, oh, go get the cameras. Go. People need to see your faces. It's less boring. Hey, baby, gonna watch a show? No, it's boring. Okay.
And so she's also not seeing
Like,
the reason why we haven't, done this because it's a process. And your computer
yeah.
sucks. Don't take it
It's like, well, I mean,
personally. Have
there's a
thick
delay.
skin.
I mean, the thing is, like, I think if I have to figure out the um, best formats for this. Now, also, mind you, we have the green screen shit going on right now too, so it also might be a reason for the lag.
Well, I got nothing slowing down on my end except you. You're
Oh
probably on
wow, I'm
Wi-Fi.
holding you back.
You're on Wi-Fi, aren't you?
Yeah, I am on my. Does that make a difference?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, see, and this is what we're talking about the entire show. People, you cannot please everybody. Okay, someone's always going to have something to say. You know,
I'm just
you're
being
not doing
honest,
it
man.
right. Your script
And you'll
sucks.
find out in 5
You
seconds
know,
exactly what I say.
you're dragging. You're holding the show up, and you're on Wi-Fi. You know, you should have a landline to your laptop. You know,
Yeah.
can't win. I
Absolutely.
can't win with you. Nothing ever pleases you.
But at least my criticisms make you a better everything.
Oh, really? Well, we'll see when I get off the show and I go take a shower and rock back and forth in a fetal position, shouting, "I did my best! I did my best! I did my best!"
But you'll be clean and you'll
So,
have me to thank for that.
and yet else, so. All right. Either way, so we're going to have to wrap this up here, but yeah, guys. Basically, just with a criticism, you're going to criticism. If you want to make it in any part of the entertainment industry, it doesn't matter if it's film, TV, like community theater, for Christ's sake. You're going to have criticism. You're going to have people tear your ideas apart. You're going to have people that are constantly berating your work or beating you down. You have to develop thick skin. You have to deal with criticism and just understand that it's not an attack on you as a person. It's if you're wise enough with it, you're looking at it as a way to build and make more for yourself, make a better name for yourself, and have a better career. So, but that's all I've got. Josh, you
Do
have
the
anything else
social
to close up
medias.
with, or social medias? Okay. So you can follow me on Instagram, bjacksman82. I may or may not have to follow. Who knows? Give it a shot. You can also check us out on the WADcast on Instagram. It's you know, you'll notice our page. Just type in the WADcast. It's like the black circle with the white banner that says WADcast. Same with Facebook. Facebook.com/the WADcast. You can go to our website, thewadcast.com, where it will be finalized tonight with all the new updates for the next announcements for next week. I'll worked out with Josh on there. Reviews are constantly going up, thanks to our contributor DL Hill, whoever the fuck that is. It's probably someone that Josh hired. I don't know. I didn't approve it, but certainly not the person that recommended go live and do cameras and never even bother to watch the damn show. Definitely not that person.
No, of course not.
But yeah, so No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. But yeah, so that's where you can follow me. I like to plug, and we'll go from there. No, you will keep reviewing. We didn't lose a reviewer.
Yeah, you did. I quit.
Oh, okay. Well, Danielle quit. So, Josh, you're now our top reviewer. We just have to,
I wasn't
we have
before.
to delete her articles now and change the password. Well, now it's like a breakup. So now, like, it's like I'm not like I have to change the locks for the website now. So
How about we just break up?
give her back the panties that I'm wearing, and you know.
Well, tell her she's always welcome at the East Coast office.
No, you know, I'm not going to say it to her. She's going to have to watch the show if she wants to hear that. Ma'am, you resigned, okay? I'm going to need you to leave my office.
If you tell me, I will rejoin
Okay.
the writing team.
So go ahead. Sorry.
So if you want to know where to reach me on social media.
Oh, hi, Mom. You're still here. Good night.
If you want to know where
Good
to
night,
reach me
Mom.
on social media, semicorestudios.com is the place to do it for now, because the new site for Wadco Media has not been exactly set up yet. So all of the pertinent links are still there, including the Patreon, where you can throw $1 down and say, hey, you guys, you know what? I like what you do. Or you could throw $50 down and say, advertise for me, you whore. Either way. If you joined us last night, speaking of Wadco Media, for the premiere episode of the movie Potluck, thank you. Thank you very much. It was a very, very fun time to do the podcast that I'm cheating on Brandon for. It was an enjoyable time. Jen and I talked about some offbeat superhero movies, Kick-Ass, Mystery Men, and Hancock, and then decided about some meals that would be paired well with those things. So don't forget to tune in to the movie Potluck. That'll be our Thursday night show right here with Wadco Media. That's all the plugs that I have for now. So I'm just going to go into the final thoughts. And it goes like this. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. There are going to be a lot of people out there that try to crush those dreams, that try to destroy you professionally and maybe personally. I don't know your life, but definitely professionally. They're going to take your work, no matter how good it is, and just rake it over the coals. They are going to criticize every word, every period, every exclamation point, which you really shouldn't use a lot of those anyway. But they are going to tear you apart only if they love you, though. Because friends and family that tell you everything you do is right are not being helpful. So you need to find somebody that is going to be honest, completely honest with you, no matter how much it hurts. That's the way to grow. That's the way to get your creativity muscle. Yeah, you have a creativity muscle. That's how you get it stronger. That's how you get your thick skin to survive all of the ones that don't love you and really do want to see you hurting badly in a ditch somewhere. Because if even the most popular and most beloved filmmakers of all time can be on the receiving end of really stupid, really dumb critiques, then you should know it's coming your way. But don't let it stop you. Just take it with a grain of salt. Consider what's being said. And do what you feel is right. Well, that's it. Thank you for joining us on the WADcast episode number 75. We'll be back next week with episode number 76. In the meantime, I'm not Brandon. I'm Josh. That guy over there is Brandon. Threw me off because I can actually see his face. And I hope you all have a really good week. Say goodbye, Brandon.
Have a weekend. Goodbye.